What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And together, we speak the language of bromance.
Richard.
We're now hitting record after 50 minutes. We're now hitting the record button.
Yeah, we always talk about, like, do people really want to hear that? And I don't know if, like, maybe that's what we do, like, before the intro. It's like skip. I mean, they do that anyway.
Yeah.
Richard, it is that wonderful time of year. It's getting a little chilly. Snow's coming down. The eggnog is just pouring through.
I hate everything that's coming out of your mouth right now.
I think it was last year around this time we stumbled across this story, and I've been saving it since.
No.
And I think it's
You've had this in your pocket for a whole year?
I have, Richard, because I'll just give you the headline. I won't even bury the lead.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm going to hold on to that.
Oh, damn it.
So, Richard,
tease me.
We love crime, right? Like funny crime stories.
Yes, I don't like the unfunny crime. Man stabs man and takes his baby. What?
And raises him as his own.
Yeah.
Dump. Not my baby.
The
no, wait,
man isn't a man. It's a wolf.
And
the baby's gonna go through the jungle trying to get back home.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in dun, not my daddy.
And he meets a funny bear. And then there's a monkey.
And then a snake. And then some other things.
And a fucking tiger.
And wolves.
And Jon Favreau shows up.
You think Jon Favreau's got too much to do already? Well, guess again. This is the adult Jungle Book.
Yeah.
No, Richard, I want to talk about robbery, specifically a bank robbery. So this takes place, Richard.
Wait a minute. Are you going to tell me the plot of Home Alone? Because
you know
I know what happens.
Speaking of that, we just watched Home Alone 1 and 2 with my kid. It actually kind of holds up.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see maybe the first one. Even when I was a kid, the second one seemed a little hokey. Like, I think the second one, when I was a kid, I remember watching it going like, man, like, you're playing out the formula, guys.
The second one's very much,
guys. You're being formulaic.
Yeah, the second one is definitely, it takes the first one and just changes it slightly.
Yeah.
Because, it's still like he's still kind of an asshole.
What if he's in New York?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a house in New York. We'll make one up.
Well, yeah, because I forgot all about what happened there, and he ends up going to his uncle's house, who then they're renovating. Yeah. And that's where he creates the house of torture.
Oh, shit.
What's funny about the first one is they talk about
Joe Pesci.
Oh, yeah.
And that weird Quaid brother.
Yeah, he's a little bit weirder in the second one. Like, they play up the fact that he's not very intelligent.
Yeah. No, he's not the weird Quaid one. With Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid's the... No, wait.
Oh, that's not a Quaid, is it?
Who's the fucking really crazy one?
Randy Quaid's the crazy one. He's the one that, like, was having sex with the
Cheney mask on, right? Yeah, he's the really crazy one.
Is that a Quaid? Is the one dude a Quaid in that?
I have no idea. I'm just guessing.
No, it's Daniel Stern.
Oh, when in doubt, assume that every actor is either a Quaid or a Baldwin, and you'll be right 99% of the time. 60% of the time, it works every time.
I forgot that Daniel Stern guy. He was in City Slickers. That's another good movie.
Yeah,
that's like pivotal, like me 90s.
I you know what? I totally buy that. That 100% makes sense.
And he was in that movie about the kid whose arm got all jacked up and could throw really fast. Rookie of the Year.
Oh, fuck.
But no, Richard, I want to talk about
terrible taste in movies.
Those came out when I was like 7. Those were like perfect for my age frame.
When did you first see Star Wars? When was the first time you saw Star Wars?
My freshman year of college, I think.
Oh my God.
Like, actually sat and watched it all the way through. I had seen...
What did you do? What did you do like before that? Like, how did you live as a person
my folks didn't like
in the world?
Movies. Like, my dad and them didn't really care for movies.
It's crazy.
Besides The Last Boy Scout. I saw that like 15 times before I was 8.
Is that a Christmas movie? I remember there's snow in it.
You know what? That might actually take time, like around that time, yeah. I just remember watching that. You see the dude running, like, you better make this touchdown. I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, dude, he's going to make it. he's like, yeah, motherfuckers. Pulls out a gun. No, I forgot. He's running down the field shooting people.
Yeah, he's running down the field shooting people, and then at the very end, he shoots himself, right?
Yeah, that's right.
He gets into the end zone, and then he shoots himself.
Yeah.
And
that seems kind of dickish, right? Like, if that was his plan. Like, you just shot a bunch of people for no reason.
Right? Like, if your plan was to get in the end zone and shoot yourself, like, why not just fucking wave the gun around? Because I'll tell you what, like, if I'm on the other team and I'm running down the field getting ready to tackle a guy and he pulls out a fucking 45 and he's like, motherfucker, I'm like, no, go ahead. All yours.
I think the crazy part is after the first guy he shot, the other one still tried to tackle him.
Well, I'm committed.
Football. No, Richard, I want to talk about a bank robbery that happened on this.
Hug it, chug it, play football. I'm attacking this. Blam, blam.
CTE, man, it's a disease.
God damn it.
No, I want to talk about a robbery that happened on December 23rd, 1927. So in the heyday of bank robberies.
The winter of love.
Ooh, the winter of love. In central Texas town of Cisco, Texas.
Down in the old Texas town now of Cisco, I saw a robbery on Christmas time fair.
Christmas Eve. So, Richard, there's a man named Marshall Ratliff.
There was an old man, and his name was Marshall.
Oh, isn't that
really weird? Because that's name of the cops.
Well, he's from Texas, right? So you got to name your kid Marshall.
Do you?
Marshall or Walker? That's the only choice. So Marshall worked alongside Henry Helms and Robert Hill. All these guys were ex-cons, right? Like, I mean,
shit.
If I gave you like the choice, it's like, were these guys
Did you say Henry Hill?
Yeah. No, Robert Hill.
Oh,
Bob
Robert Hill.
Rob Hill.
I was gonna say, I think Henry Hill was the name of Ray Liotta's character in Goodfellas.
I've seen that movie.
I bet you have.
I didn't like the ending.
Why didn't you like the ending? Because it's a Scorsese movie, and you're like, why is everyone dying?
Well, yeah, but that's where he goes into like witness protection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed weird. Like it was a really good gangster movie, and all of a sudden it just got weird.
And then everybody gets shot.
Yeah, probably that whole Pesci thing. Like, because I'm like, hey, that's the guy from Home Alone. It's like, what? I'm fucking funny like a clown. Like, yeah, where's your gun
like
tooth?
Robber clown.
Bang! Oh God!
Don't touch that doorknob.
Paint can. So this robbery, Richard, is one of the most infamous crimes in having invoked the largest manhunt ever seen in the state.
That's saying something for Texas.
Was there a lot of bank robberies in Texas?
No, I mean manhunts.
Well, this was in the country.
Well, I'm saying, like, you're talking like they're all about like, you know, like I think actually this still holds true. I think a sheriff can actually still, to this day, a sheriff can form a posse.
I think you could do that in like a lot of places.
Yeah.
Because they can like deputize you.
There's part of me that wants to be elected as a sheriff just so I could do that. I'd form a posse and then we'd hang out.
To be fair, I think you have to be a cop or a sheriff for a while. And then you get elected. True.
If that's the case, then why do I get to vote? Why do I get to vote on who the sheriff is? I don't know who the fuck should be the sheriff.
It's a good point. I don't even know. Do they have R&Ds next to their name for sheriff? I don't think they do.
I don't know. But I guess what I'm saying is, why am I voting on the sheriff? Because what am I looking for? What qualifications am I looking for in the sheriff?
I think we talked about this offline
bad
before.
Guys. Well, good. Yeah. Okay.
I think the idea is
sheriff,
that
I'll catch bad guys.
I think
my opponent won't catch bad guys.
I think the idea is like with police chiefs, they're appointed by like the mayor or some like elected officials.
Okay.
So you can't elect them. So if they're like assholes, you're stuck with them. But a sheriff, if they're like assholes or whatever, like then you'd be like, all right, well, we're gonna elect somebody else.
Shawn, who is your county sheriff?
Greg Ratliff.
I thought you were gonna say Joe Pesci.
Yeah, nobody messes with him.
That's my point. You have no idea who your sheriff is. What does he do? You're electing him to do what? Is he the guy that's out there chasing bad guys?
I think he leads the sheriff's department. He's got a job. It's not just like he sits at a desk and puts his feet on the table and watches the one sell.
Why am I voting for a sheriff? What are my expectations of a sheriff?
I don't know. What are your expectations of a sheriff?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Why am I voting for one?
It's just an elected position, so that way it's not an appointed position.
I think if you can vote, if I'm allowed to vote on who gets to be the sheriff, then I should be allowed to run for sheriff.
Well, I think there's qualifications. I don't, because we talked about this before. Because we were like, wait a minute, why can we vote for the coroner, the county coroner?
Yeah.
Like, basically, it's like I'm not gonna have sex with dead corpses. My opponent over here.
Yeah. Like what am I looking for?
Usually, I think those run unopposed too.
My point is, I want to be the sheriff so I can form a posse.
Well, Richard, if you try hard and get your name on the ballot, it's possible.
Would you vote for me as sheriff?
No, because I'm not in the same county as you, so that would be illegal.
Damn it.
I'm not going to jail so that you can get 2 votes for sheriff.
Fuck.
I'd get more than that. Hey, kids, you'd vote for me, right? Kids?
It only said...
Kids.
Wait a minute. What do you mean I only got 2 votes? There's 5 people in this house.
I'd arrest all of you if I was elected sheriff.
I'd form a posse and you wouldn't be in it.
Be the smallest manhunt in this town. No, but Boyce House, who was an eyewitness, wrote that this was the most spectacular crime in the history of the Southwest.
Oh my God.
Surpassing any in which Billy the Kid or the James Boys had ever figured.
Oh, shit. See, you say spectacular, and I'm imagining like you're robbing a bank and there's fucking pyrotechnics going off. Fucking
fireworks going off all the place.
Kicks open the door. He's like, "This is a robbery!" Boosh, boosh.
Well, I mean,
and fucking doves shoot out of his hands, and fucking glitter flies everywhere.
He's just got a glitter gun.
Robbery.
This is a stick up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you think about this too. So, 1927. This would only have been like what 40 years after all the Western stuff had been going on, like Billy the Kid and Jesse James.
The Old West.
Because it's funny because the Old West, like, essentially was like 10 years, right? But we have more time on film than the actual Old West, like movies and stuff, than the actual Old West.
Westerns were fucking cheap to make.
Oh yeah.
Hey, let's get some cowboy hats and fucking throw a bunch of dudes on horses and have them run around and pretend to shoot people.
Yeah, it's a generic story. It's good and bad.
And done.
You're saving a lady. Don't worry, little lady. So, I mean, John Wayne, he was in like 70 of them in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Favorite John Wayne movie? Western.
Actually, it's not. My favorite John Wayne movie isn't even a Western.
Well, that's why I said Western, because yours is the one where he goes to Ireland.
I don't know. I don't know any. I didn't watch any Westerns. I watched 0 Westerns. I didn't watch any.
Yeah, my dad loved Westerns, and my grandpa
Tombstone.
did too.
But I feel like that's the person that never watched a Western.
John Wayne's not in Tombstone.
I know, but I'm saying like
no, he's not
Western.
in Tombstone.
I don't know any fucking Western movies that John Wayne's in.
Richard,
I'm just gonna fucking put random Western words together. The Old Man and the Gray Horse.
Oh, that's a good one. That's my 8th favorite. Richard, if you're gonna be sheriff, you have to know your favorite John Wayne Western. That's like question 3.
Who got elected county sheriff, and I want to see him ride a horse. That should be a qualification. If my sheriff has a press conference and be like, "All right, I'm running for county sheriff, and I think you should vote for me," I'm gonna be in the crowd. I'm gonna raise my hand, and I'll be like, yes, Richard, private citizen, can you ride a horse? Because I feel like any person that should be sheriff should be able to ride a horse."
He pulls out an old Henry, whistles, this white, majestic beast comes running by, and he jumps on it. He's like, "Throw your water bottle in the air." You throw it, he's like, "Pew, pew, pew, pew." And you're like, Richard, my second question, can I join your posse?
Yeah.
He's like, what's your favorite John Wayne Western? Damn it.
The
Cowboys.
The Odd Look on the Prairie Fair.
Oh, the original or the remastered? Original, obviously.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for that remake bullshit.
No, I think one of my favorites is the Cowboy. I think it's called The Cowboys, where he goes and basically like gets a bunch of kids from the local school to take cattle from one spot to another. It's like one of 3 movies he's died in. Spoilers.
Yeah, because I'm gonna watch it.
It's good. I want to watch. I've seen the remake, but the one where he's got the patch.
Okay.
Grit. Something Grit. They did a remake of it.
True Grit.
True Grit. Yeah.
Oh my God, I totally pulled that right out of my ass.
Yeah. You know True Grit, right? You've heard of it.
Yes.
You haven't seen the new one? It's got the dude in it.
I didn't watch the old one. I haven't seen the new one.
And it's got Matt Damon.
I'm gonna tell you the westerns that I've watched. I've seen Tombstone. I've seen
Have you seen Young Guns?
Magnificent Seven.
Have you seen Young Guns?
Yes, but I honestly could not tell you a single thing about Young Guns.
It's got Billy the Kid in it, and Bon Jovi does the soundtrack for it.
I thought that was Young Guns 2.
I think he's got the first one too.
We'll see. What did I say? Tombstone, Silverado. I watched that one, and there was one other one. What's the one with Gene Hackman and fucking
Blazing Saddles?
No, if Blazing Saddles counts, then I've seen Blazing Saddles. He rode a blazing saddle.
Oh, it is just the second one. I thought he had something on the first one too.
There was a Western that Gene Hackman was in that I remember seeing, but I can't remember the name of it. Clint Eastwood was in it too. Unforgiven. I saw that.
So what's your hatred for Westerns? Because that's like American.
It's just never been like anything I'm interested in. It's a bunch. It's people on horses in the fucking desert.
I mean, it's like a tauntaun, except with laser swords. They have guns.
Tauntaun, number one, is very different from a horse. Number two, a lightsaber is way cooler than a fucking 6-shooter pistol.
I don't know. Some of those 6-shooter pistols are pretty sweet.
And number three, I've never heard of a desert wampa.
And it's kind of cool because you walk into the town, and for some reason, every town when the good guy and the bad guy came up to each other, you just hear,
"Oh, Good, Bad, and the Ugly." I've seen bits and pieces of Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
I haven't seen any of that. Gunsmoke. I used to watch that a lot with Dad too.
I don't hate him. It's not that I don't have this like burning hatred of him. It's just never been anything I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think it's like Little House on the Prairie. It just feels like a simpler time.
Oh my God, my fucking wife loves Little House on the Prairie. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I also love Little House on the Prairie.
I always felt bad for the little girl because every episode she fell down that damn dandelion hill.
She told me she fucking read the book. My wife told me she read the books, and she said that fucking what's his name? The dad,
John Landis.
John Landis. That like in the books, like he was a dick.
Well, I mean,
apparently in the books he was like an asshole.
Yeah, but back then, like, it was rough life. Like the TV show's like, oh my God, it's so amazing. But like in real life, it's like, hey, if we don't fucking get these eggs, we're gonna starve to death.
We're gonna die all the time.
I don't have a problem eating one of you kids. I'm gonna live. No, what's weird? I remember reading that book in like 4th grade, maybe 3rd grade. But Laura Ingalls Wilder, like the dude that she married was like 15 years older than her.
Yeah.
And I remember being in like 3rd or 4th grade, be like, that's kind of icky. Like she's like 8 in this book. And you're telling me they get married?
So I guess this is okay, right? Well, I mean, not you.
Teacher, you're how much older than me are you? First off, Shawn, ew.
Shawn, I don't see you writing a book about your hard life on the prairie. So yeah, it's a hard no.
Oh. Guess it's time for me to form a posse. to steal back your heart, Mrs. Jones.
You're not sheriff. I didn't vote for you. Hashtag not my sheriff.
So Marshall Ratliff was an ex-con who had lived in Cisco before being tracked down and imprisoned for a bank robbery in Valeria, Texas.
Okay.
So this is beforehand. So Richard, the plan for this robbery, they planned the crime in Wichita Falls, but on this day, Richard, because back in the day, these banks had like the big vault that they'd lock with all the money.
With like the big spinning fucking lock on it. We're like, oh, lock the vault.
Who knows the combination? It's like, just the bank teller, and he's not here today. Where is he? He's fishing.
Yeah, he's 30 miles out in the fucking weeds.
He's probably dead. He died of dysentery.
He's that guy we shot on the way in.
You know
we were
what?
Riding into town where we're all like, who's that guy? Who gives a shit?
Take his fishing shit. That'd be fun, like game. Like you get to ride in town being the bad guy and just some random NPC pops up, and if you shoot him, that's the one person that can open up the safe.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sweet irony.
Kept it in your holster a little longer, eh, Poncho?
Yeah. So, Richard, they planned this crime in Wichita Falls, but the safecracker came down with the flu.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Which seems kind of like, dude, seriously, we're going to rob a bank.
Well, and also it's the Old West, so that person died 3 days later.
That's a good point. That's true.
So the trio he came down with the flu. What's that mean? That means he's dead. That means he's dead. I guess we'll just leave him.
He had diarrhea, and shortly thereafter, death.
All right. So what about the safecracker? I think he came down with the flu. Guys, I'm not feeling so good. Well, guess we'll have to leave. Yeah?
Guys, I'm feeling kind of bang.
Throw him off the train.
Throw him in the burn pile. So the trio pulled in Davis, a relative of Helms and a family man in need. Because this was, you really think about this. This was a time where if you robbed a bank and went like 40 miles in one direction, you'd probably be scot-free.
I feel like yes, unless they got like, here's the thing that I never understood when it came to like the Old West or even like, like any sort of older movie. Okay. So let's say somebody commits a crime. Let's say, you shoot, your fucking like mistress's husband, and you grab your girl and you fucking ride off, 300 miles away. Okay. And then somebody's like, I know who shot him. He had this weird hairline. He had this hairline and he had 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth. And they paint this picture. And then, like 6 months later, some guy shows up and is like, hey, wait a minute. Like how good would how good of an artist rendering do you think you're going to get in like 1884?
You had people that could draw back then, but I kind of feel like the whole like wanted poster stuff is probably something that we made up, because you think about like a small town.
They actually had wanted posters?
I'm sure they had wanted posters, but I don't think like each town, I don't think had somebody good enough to draw.
Cause it's like, I'll tell you what, here's a Western that I watched that I liked, Django.
Yeah.
Okay. So Django, fucking the dude is walking around and he's like, look at a picture, look at a guy, that looks like the guy, bang. And then they take that dead body to some dude that's like, hey, I'm collecting this bounty. Oh, here's the bounty, and it's a picture of like, I don't know, fucking a river and some birds and shit. And he's like, this is the guy. And the guy's like, oh, good enough for me. Here's $400.
Well, I think if you think about it, like around then too, most like towns were super small. So they probably knew who it was. It'd be like our gaming group. If one of the guys in our gaming group showed up and like shot somebody and ran off, we'd be like, "Oh, it was Bob." But so they kind of like, "Oh, it's this guy. He lives here." And so the guy going around the bounty hunter person would know the name and would kind of basically go up to like, "Are you Bob? Who wants to know?" Well, I gotta take you in. I formed a posse.
Dead or alive. Bang.
Oh, shit, it said alive. Oh, tax evasion. Ah, well, leave him out here for the birds.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. Am I right? Let's go.
Tomato, tomato. Let's see. So, but no, yeah, like, I think even today, if you, this is what I've heard. I don't know for sure. I haven't done research on it, but I think if you rob a bank and you're not caught like relatively quickly, it's very difficult to capture you for that.
Yeah.
Especially for like, depending on the amount of money. Yeah. If you're doing it multiple times, then I think it gets like, they basically have something for. It's kind of like the movie with Ben Affleck where they were in Boston.
The Town? The Town,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that's kind of like today's Western. Like, I don't know if that really happens that often.
I mean, like, I guess so. See, because my thinking is like, if it was so easy, why didn't everybody do it? Like, if you lived in the Old West, would you rob a bank?
I mean, no. I mean, just knowing what my personality is now, no.
Not really, no.
But, I mean, the thing you have to think about at a lot of these places, like, there was a time, especially during this time, because I remember reading about, I can't remember what, it was right after the guy and the girl who were on that big, like, spree. But towns, because bank robbery was such a like epidemic that towns would take it upon themselves that if the bank was getting robbed, they'd hear the alarms going and the town would come out with guns and try to shoot whoever was trying to steal the money.
Okay, see, now that's a deterrent.
Yeah. So basically it's like, yeah, you can get in, because that's the whole idea is if you get in before they set off the alarm and get away, then you're probably scot-free. But if you come out like the whole town's there with guns shooting at you, odds are somebody's going to die. But they had super like souped up cars too back in the day that couldn't get super far because of the gas mileage, but that was like the whole like thing. But the money couldn't be traced. Right. Not like it can today.
Right.
And even like back then, like you dealt with cash. And like if you went to a car dealership back then and said, hey, here's $3,000 for a car, they're going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, cool.
Like now, if you go up, you're like, hey, I want to buy a car. Here's $40,000 in cash. I feel like some questions are going to be asked.
There's a coin shortage, mister.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like it's a lot of times too, like the people at like the podcast I was listening to, they never really lived to like a super old age.
Bank robbers?
Yeah. Because it's kind of like
all get shot in the end.
Yeah, or go to jail, or like somebody snitches on them, or like it never ends up well. It's kind of like Sons of Anarchy, right? Like you watch that show and you're like, oh my God, like it'd be cool to be like a biker in a biker gang.
And run a fucking meth lab.
Yeah, but then you see like what happens, you're like, oh yeah, that seems horrible. Count me out. Like that's not for me.
I don't know. See, like I feel like it's this constant like duality because, you know, I feel okay. So, you know, when it comes to like, say, robbing a bank or like you said, like Sons of Anarchy, like you run a meth lab or whatever, and let's say you make like fucking $2 million, you know, like if you stop at that point and you say, okay, I've made $2 million, like I'm good. I'm going to not do any of these things anymore, and then I'm going to go buy a house in Tuscany and live the rest of my life on a vineyard, fucking drinking wine and driving around a car like it's a Roman holiday, you know? But the thing is that the people that do that, the people that fucking rob banks or, you know, or have a meth lab and make $2 million, they don't stop at $2 million because like they can't.
Well, I would imagine, I mean, this is based off just movies and stuff, but like, I think there's an addiction there to it, probably.
Yeah.
And then also, I think you get so deep into it, like that lifestyle, that you can't leave because then I think people get nervous, like, well, why are you leaving? Are you going to snitch on me?
Yeah.
And so it's the whole idea of kind of like going in and continually doing those things because you just kind of get stuck in the lifestyle.
Who you think? You think you're John fucking Wick?
No. I just want a house in Tuscany. Yeah, and I think back then too, like you would have had, you know, in reality, if we lived back then, either you and I would be working on like the railroad, or we'd be farmers, or we'd be dead at 3. Probably dead at 3.
Let's go with C. But I'm saying like okay, like, you know, like we rob 2 banks and we get like 20 grand, which is the equivalent of like, I don't know, like $400,000, you know, we rob 2 banks and we make $400,000. At that point, Shawn, like you and I would be like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go, you know, buy a house in Tuscany and we can live there together and it'll be fucking great and we'll be cool and hang out. But the thing is that if we have the mentality, if we are at the point where we have the mentality to rob 2 banks, then we're not going to stop at 2 banks.
Well, I think after like the second and third, fourth, you're like, oh, wait, we're really good at this. And you just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get sucked in the lifestyle, and I'm sure you start spending money.
And then you walk out and everybody in the town's got a gun. And
like, oh, 1 bank too many.
Yep. Should have stopped at 12.
Yeah, because, I mean, like you said, if you got the equivalent of 400 grand now, back then you go to California, cut out some land, buy some cattle.
Yeah, and just fucking hang out and live your life.
Yeah. But then you get there, and there's another cattle farmer, and you battle it out.
And a dance-off with your cows.
Tale as old as time.
Yep.
Let's see.
Bring it on, but cows.
Cow it on. Cattle it on.
Bovine it on.
Let's see. So, where are we at? So Safecracker came down with the flu. So they got somebody else, and it was a guy who was a relative of Helms whose family was in need. So during this period in Texas, 3 or 4 banks were being robbed every day. So like I mentioned,
Jesus Christ.
Dude, back in these days, like it was like nothing for banks to get robbed. And I think a lot of it too was like you said, like, oh my God, if we get like 2 banks, we'd have like $400,000 worth of money. I don't think banks had that much money on them. So you
no, probably not, because like they're all fucking running like these dirt poor fucking towns.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like at the most they've got like $200 in the safe.
Yeah, or a couple grand or something like that. And so it's, you know, like you get enough that I'm sure you made like a year's salary from it, but it's not enough to get you over the top. And I'm sure like depending on the size of your posse, there's probably a ton of like people with their hands out on this.
Yeah. Well, and I would think like say that the towns that do have like these, you know, these big banks with like fucking, you know, like a lot of money in the safe, like there's a reason that they have a lot of money in the safe, probably because there's like, you know, like 4 guys in the lobby with, you know, fucking sawed off shotguns.
Oh, yeah. So, Richard, these guys walk in. There's already some customers in there making their deposits. And as they walked up, the cashiers called out and said, "Hello, Santa."
Oh, my God. Is that how Santa makes the toys?
Yeah. He steals money from the poor and builds the toys and gives them to the kids. No, these guys, Richard, dressed up.
Does that happen today? Is that how Santa can afford everybody an iPad?
Oh, I actually got too far. So basically, Buried these guys dressed up as Santa Claus and went in this. So like I said, there's like 3 to 4.
You know what? That's smart. You know why? Santa's got a sack.
That's true.
That's smart.
The Texas Bankers Association had offered a $5,000 reward to anyone shooting a bank robber during the crime.
Oh, wow.
So essentially, like if like 5 guys come out and you drop 3 of them, that's 15 grand.
You know, that's a good way to make money. You just stand in the lobby of a bank and then you wait for somebody to come in and make the deposit. And then you're like, oh my God, he's coming right for us. Bang.
5 grand. I'll just take it from his amount. Wait, there's only $200. I'll get the next one.
Sir, I think he was just making a bang.
Teller had some sticky hands.
Yeah.
I'll just take the 5 grand out of his teller box.
That doesn't look like exact change. Bang. He's skimming.
So these guys knew that this was going to be like they'd be able to be told who it was, but since they're going on December 23rd, Ratliff went and stole, I think he said stole, no, he went and got a Santa suit from Miss Midge Tellett, who ran a boarding house.
Oh my God.
Wichita Falls.
Wait a minute. Can we stop and let's just marvel at how fucking perfect that name is? Midge Tellett.
Yep. MIDGE.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic.
Miss
Shawn,
Midge Tellett.
I love you and you're my best friend, but if I had another best friend, their name would be Midge Tellett. Oh my God, how cool would that be? Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out at the bar. Well, who's going? Me and Midge.
Yeah. the Midge. You'd have to call her the Midge.
Oh my God. That's fantastic.
Oh my God.
That name's delicious.
And when she's about to tell a story, you're like, tell it, Midge.
Oh, Jesus. That's getting me excited. That got me really excited.
Well, she doesn't really play a big part in the story besides her name.
Doesn't matter. That's a perfect name.
It's a good name. That should go in a story. I need to write that down.
Yep. That is the perfect Midge Tellett's boarding house.
Oh my God. That's like that old cartoon on Cartoon Network about the boarding house.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of that movie. It was a really shitty movie. What was it called? Hotel Artemis, where it was.
I love that movie.
Yeah. Okay. So like, I'm thinking of like Hotel Artemis, but like the person that's running it and their name is Midge Tellett.
Well, it'd be Hotel Tellett. It'd be the one next door to Hotel Artemis.
Oh, Hotel Artemis.
That's a good movie.
CEO is Midge Tellett.
I can't believe you didn't like that movie.
That was all right.
Says the man who doesn't like Westerns. All right, so he's got a Santa suit, right?
He's got a Santa suit.
It's around
Picked
Christmas
it up
time.
from Midge. Good old Midge.
Yeah. Walks in, and so nobody's thinking anything of this, right? It's like, it's Santa Claus. So cashier gives him a greeting. Hello, Santa. Says it again. And Ratliff walks up, points the pistol at the cashier, and says, hands up.
Oh, that's
Just
great.
imagine,
That's
hey,
classic.
Santa, hands up. Oh, Santa.
Oh, what would Midge say?
So 4 men come in then, and Santa ordered the assistant cashier to open the safe and began stuffing money and bonds into a sack, like you said, he had hidden beneath his costume. While the others covered the customers' employees, Ratliff grabbed money from the tellers and forced one to open the vault. Unseen by the 4 robbers, bank patron Miss B.P. Blassengame.
Oh my God.
Good
These names are so good.
And her 6-year-old daughter, Frances, entered the bank in hopes of seeing Santa.
Oh, shit.
So
poor little Frances Blassengame.
So they're walking by, and, kids probably being a little shit. It's like, no, I want to go get candy. You never give me candy. Dad would give me candy. Well, your dad died of the flu.
And then before he died, he named you Francis.
And you just hear from inside, hello,
so who
Santa.
are you really mad at?
So not knowing a robbery was in progress, they walked inside. So immediately realizing the danger, Miss Blassengame charged her way with her daughter through the books-keeping office of the bank, announcing they are robbing the bank.
Oh, shit.
So Miss Blassengame is running through town now, telling everybody that their bank's being robbed. And you know what the townspeople heard? Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So she reached the alley. She quickly unlocked the door, thrusting her daughter into the alley while yelling at her to run, despite warnings from the robbers that they would shoot. And
Did
she
they
escaped.
shoot? Did they shoot at little Francis Blassengame or old lady Blassengame?
I don't think so. So they screamed for help and ran to the city hall and the police department, alerting the chief of police, Bedford.
Bedford's his first name, isn't it?
It just says Bedford.
Oh my God.
And most of
this is like the sexiest Mad Libs I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh wait, here's his name, Richard. So it's Police Chief G.E. nickname Bit Bedford.
Oh my God. Go get him, Bit. Oh.
Yes, Bit Bedford. He was a giant man and a veteran peace officer.
Shawn, if I ever write a fictional story, I need to remember this so that way I can put all these names in it.
These are good names. This should be a movie.
These are delicious names.
So he got a riot gun and instructed his officers R.T. Red Eyes and
so it's
George Carmichael. George Carmichael sounds like he's the backup singer. Let's get him, Tharge.
So it's Bit, Red Eyes, and George Carmichael?
Yeah. So they were covering the back.
I will be your father figure. Put your tiny hand in mine.
Here you go, Richard. So they had them posted in the alley which ran alongside the bank and opened at the bank's front on Avenue D.
Oh, fucking George Carmichael's on Avenue D. I always knew it.
And so while inside, they're getting all this stuff together, and one of the guys with his automatic weapon yelled at the bookkeeper, said, "Don't look at me." And by this time, Santa Claus had filled his sack.
Did he have a beard on? Do you think he had
I
a
assume
beard?
he did, yeah. He did, because they said like the picture that helped capture them is like your traditional looking Santa Claus.
Nice.
Like big rosy cheeks, big beard.
I don't think we're going to be able to get him, George Carmichael. Well, you got to have faith.
Well, I guess it would be nice.
If I could shoot the Santa.
I know that every Santa has a body like you. So, Richard,
But
there was
you got to shoot twice.
to make sure you hit the body.
I know not everybody is going to shoot him like me.
So, Richard,
but I need some time off.
For my promotion. After I shoot his heart on the floor.
Shoot and throw his heart off on the floor. Oh, but I'll reconsider my foolish notion. I'm gonna shoot me some Santa, then I'll head on down to Midge.
Carmichael, get your head in the game.
Sorry, Bits.
So a shootout, Richard, ensued.
Oh,
Who fired first is uncertain. Some sources said Ratcliffe, who was dressed as Santa, was the first to fire. The bullet struck the bank's plate glass window, possibly to signal unseen accomplice that the robbery had been accomplished.
Oh, no.
Immediately, Bedford and Carmichael directed crossfire at the side door, and the two gunned robber fired back. First at Carmichael, because he was dancing and singing, and then Bedford.
Did anybody shoot Carmichael?
Oh, we'll have to see.
Oh, man.
So the gunfire began, and as many civilians who owned guns were now outside the bank, and many more had rushed to the hardware store for pistols and rifles.
Oh, God.
So, Richard, they hear there's a bank robbery going on, and somebody's like, "Holy shit, my gun's in the shop." Runs down to the local warehouse and picks one up. Let's see. So it said the assistant postmaster and the postmaster were two of the civilians who took up arms against the robbery.
Oh, damn.
They opened up fire, and a bullet struck one of the fugitives in the arm and spun him around. A bullet also struck a cashier in the jaw.
Are you trying to say he went postal? I'll turn my mic off.
So a cashier was struck. Another bank customer was struck in the leg. One customer made a run for it and was able to tell Bedford and Carmichael about the hostages. And I'm sure Carmichael was like, "Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Hostages.
We get $5,000 for those too, right? Yeah, I mean, we don't. Guilty until proven dead."
Yeah.
The robbers forced all the people in the bank out the door and toward their blue sedan. Several of the hostages were wounded, including Alex Spears, the bank president.
Oh, shit. Eat
So
the rich. Eat the rich.
So there were more than 100 shots that had been fired before the shootout in the alley where the robbers
God
made it to their
damn.
getaway car. Well, I mean, you think about, you think a town of like 20?
Also, like 100 shots, like you're talking like the guy's got like, 6 shots in his pistol at most. You're talking about a rifle that has like, what?
It's like 5 to 6 probably.
Yeah, 5, probably 5 or 6 shots in
I mean, that's not much. I mean, if you have 20 people shooting, that's over 100 shots right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, I don't know if it doesn't.
That's a lot of fucking. I'm just saying that's a lot of fucking bullets flying through the air, and only like 3 or 4 people get hit.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
it's probably just everybody like close their eyes and they're just fucking waving their gun, blam, 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 blam.
So there's more than 100 shots fired before the shootout in the alley. In the alley, Chief Bedford and Deputy George Carmichael, Richard, you're going to not like this, were mortally wounded.
And then George Carmichael was like, "Don't let the sun go down on me."
Officer Carmichael found himself reeling from a bullet that had been fired from one of the robbers' gun. Officer Red Eyes, who had witnessed his partner being shot, went to him to assist in any way he could. As Redis dodged the robber's bullet, the four made their way to the getaway car. At the head of the alley, Police Chief Bedford stood in their way. Bedford's like, not in my town. I know I'm not elected sheriff, but I won't allow this.
Get 'em, bits.
So they exchanged fire, and Chief Bennett...
George Carmichael, don't die on me. Don't die on me. I'm never gonna dance again.
So Chief Bedford, who had been a peace officer in the area for 25 years, was shot 5 times.
Damn.
Bedford died several hours later on Christmas Day. And Carmichael, he lasted a while. He died almost a month later on January 17th. So he held on. Oh my God,
fucking a month? He was like in traction for like a month?
Probably. I would imagine it had to have been like a...
like the bullet must have fucking like lodged itself somewhere and then it just slowly killed him. That sounds like the worst.
It'd been kind of like Garfield, the president. It would just been probably like what's it called? Like not gangrene, but where you basically get septic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which would be awful. That'd be the worst way to go. That's what I'm
saying. Like it sounds like fucking Carmichael got the worst of it.
Yeah. Because a lot of time, like even during the Civil War, like there was a lot of people that would get shot. It would just live the rest of their life with that bullet because it wouldn't hit anything major, and your body would just like encase itself around it.
Yeah, that happened with Andrew Jackson.
Oh, did it? I realized he got shot.
President Andrew Jackson. He fought in duels, and basically, like he had been in so many pistol duels that he actually had lead in his body that he just lived with.
Yeah. Well, President Garfield. The shot that happened to him, he would have survived if people left it alone. But so many people wanted to be the person to save him that they're all like picking and prodding at it.
Yeah.
And this was a time where they're like, wait, germs? No, there's no such thing as germs. That they basically got infected. And
I don't have time to wash my hands. I'm fucking trying to get a bullet out of the president and be a fucking hero.
Yeah. Wash
out
my
of
hands.
My way.
Crazy times. Let's see. 6 other civilians were wounded. Davis was severely wounded in the shootout, while Ratliff suffered from 2 wounds, one in the chin and one in the leg.
Oh, no.
Officer Redis ran to the police station.
Dance again.
And retrieved a rifle and began to pursue the robbers on foot. So, the getaway. So, the 4 robbers began their getaway traveling south on Avenue D. They realized they were almost out of gas, which would be the first thing you should have checked.
Yeah, that would, maybe they left the car running.
No, basically, this says that they forgot to fill the tank beforehand.
Oh, fucking... Okay, well, then that's on them.
Speaking of wintertime, one of my biggest pet peeves is people in the wintertime who let their car gas get below like a quarter of a tank.
Why?
Because it's this time of year where if like you get stuck somewhere and you're down to like a quarter of a tank...
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously with... phones and stuff.
I do that like if I'm taking like a road trip somewhere, I never let the tank go below half.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same boat because I usually have to stop by about that time anyway to use the bathroom or stretch my legs.
Well, that's because you have a child's bladder.
I do, but it's like if you're stopping anyway, you might as well fill it up.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if I'm going on a road trip somewhere, I never let the gas get below half. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that it's more fuel efficient. If the tank stays above half.
Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know if that's like one of those old wives' tales or something that somebody told me that I now like fucking take as gospel.
Yeah, I would assume it wouldn't matter.
Bullshit, and they were making fun of me. I'm like, yeah, keep your gas above half a tank. It's more fuel efficient.
Yeah, make sure your blinker fluid's full too, because if that's not full, then gas mileage.
Your Johnson rod. Where's that? It's next to the flywheel carburetor.
Cars are so cool. So as they're getting near the town, one of their tires was also flat as it was shot. So the robbers lurked out of the vehicles and brandished their guns to command a passing Oldsmobile driven by 14-year-old Woodrow Wilson Harris, not the president.
Oh, see, you got me all excited.
Yeah. Like, was Abe Lincoln here? No.
How many people were named Woodrow Wilson in the world?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, people don't name kids after presidents anymore.
Why would you? That poor child.
So the robbers transferred the loot, hostages, and took the Oldsmobile and went on their merry way.
Oh.
The mob found Davis and the money, temporarily gave up the chase. And what the fuck happened here?
Wait, what? Wait. All of a sudden, the chase ended.
Yeah. So the robbers transferred the loot.
So the car ran out of gas.
Oh, so basically,
like, who's supposed to fill it up? Well, I don't know. Did we fill up at Midge's?
So basically, they're trying to transfer this. So when they had finally transferred themselves to their getaway car, only then did they realize that they could not start the car because Harris had cleverly taken the keys from the ignition when ordered to stop. So they're stuck here. One car's not working. This other car, this kid took the keys, is like, fuck you.
Throws them in a lake. Bang.
So Davis was by now unconscious, so they left him in the car and moved back to the first car with their two hostages. So Robert Hill, the one who had followed Ratcliffe into the bank, was struck by a rifle bullet during the aborted transfer to Harris's car.
Oh, no.
They did not realize until later that they had left the money in the Oldsmobile with Davis. So they got in their car, took off, and they left their money. So basically, this is where you've robbed a bank, you've transferred the money into a new car, somebody starts shooting at you, so you go back to your old car. Yeah. So the mob found Davis and the money and temporarily gave up the chase.
All right, let's start counting them. Oh, shit.
Yeah. So the money was then returned to the bank. They had stolen $12,400 in cash and $150,000 in non-negotiable securities. So those have been the bonds.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a pretty good chunk of change back then.
Right? 150,000. What year was this again? 1927, you said?
27, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I have no idea what that would be in today's money.
It's got to be a couple million, I would think. Or at least $1 million something. Estimates were made that at least 200 bullet holes were made in the bank, a number which many thought too low.
$2.1 million.
Split against, I mean, they all didn't make it, but 4 people, so that's about $500,000 apiece.
Adjusted for inflation, $150,000 in 1927 is equal to $2,177,745. Damn.
That seems a lot for a little town, too. I'm not sure how big this town is. So besides the 2 police officers, 6 townspeople had been wounded in the shootout, but no one was sure whether the robbers or the mob members were responsible. For Davis, who was the last-minute replacement, this was the only crime in his lifetime. He was taken to Fort Worth Hospital after his capture because they left him in the car.
Yeah.
But efforts to save his life failed.
Oh.
He died from bullet wounds.
Carmichael.
Well, and he was doing it too because he had some family issues.
I'll be your father figure.
He's like, my tiny Tim, he's dying. I need this money to save his life. He's like, well, at least he won't be dying alone. The trio had raced back onto Avenue D, 2 of the desperados firing back at an automobile filled with pursuers. So apparently they headed back.
Oh, I feel like this is going to end badly.
Yeah, Sheriff John Hart, so this would have been the elected official, and his deputies of Eastland, the county seat, had been called by long distance and given the news of the bank robbery. They piled into automobiles and sped to the spot where the bandits had abandoned their car. So you like this? So they had many of the members of the posse were on horseback or on foot. And they searched kind of the canyon and area trying to find these guys.
Yeah.
The pursuit continued throughout Saturday and Saturday night. One of the results of the Yuletide crime was its tragic implications for little kids. So on Christmas Eve, a church in Eastland was filled, and as Jolly St. Nicholas entered, a boy called out with quivering in his voice, Santa Claus, why did you rob that bank?
I thought you were dead.
So when the bandits wrecked their car in Putnam, I think we drove through Putnam.
Probably. Yeah, maybe. I honestly don't remember.
They successfully got a new vehicle, and during the seizure, one of the guy's father that they're trying to steal from shot a shotgun at them.
Oh, shit.
And the shot struck his son, it says. So I think he killed his own kid.
Damn.
Yeah, this gets kind of weird.
Fuck, that's crazy. I'll tell you what, like, how much trust do you think that town had for anybody in a Santa suit at that point?
Oh yeah, that's like the town
like
where Santa's never
I'm
allowed.
gonna dress up as Santa and like come to the office Christmas party. Hey guys, I bang.
Yeah. Ho ho boom. Yeah, that's a good point. That's like the town where Santa's not allowed. It's like a Footloose. That's your Christmas version of Footloose.
Yeah, the town that no longer had a Christmas.
Yeah, the town that no longer had a Santa.
Yeah.
So they basically hid out all night. All they had to eat was oranges, but they were ambushed the next morning by Sheriff Foster in the little town of South Bend in Young County. As they tried to cross a river, the officers spotted the single-seated machine with the 3 occupants approaching. The driver caught sight of the gun in hands, and one of the officers began backing rapidly down the road.
Oh, shit.
So there's another firefight.
It's going down.
Deputy Sheriff Cy Bradford, famous for bringing law and order to the coal fields of Strong.
Cy Bradford.
Later a Texas Ranger.
Of course he was.
Had a career of gunfights.
Oh my God, I'm picturing a guy with the biggest fucking handlebar mustache. Like so much of a handlebar mustache, like a fucking Roosevelt mustache, like a William Howard Taft mustache.
Yeah, so let me read this to you. So before this car got there, he had Old Betsy, his double-barreled shotgun, an extra pair of shells in one hand. Bradford fired once, and one of the fugitives fell.
I'm picturing like Wilford Brimley with a fucking cowboy hat.
Yes. Bradford reloaded before firing again. I did not want to be caught with an empty gun if they turned and made a stand, he explained afterward.
Because I'm Cy fucking Bradford.
Yeah, so these guys are running away. He's like, nope. Boom. Boom.
The only thing I wish I could shoot even more than these guys is my diabetes.
So again, Bradford shot, and a man went down, but arose and staggered on. The officer shoved another shell in the gun and shot him again.
Zombie Santa.
The third desperado slumped to his knees, but got back up and reeled on.
Oh, no.
Ratliff was hit and fell to the ground, while Helms and Hill, although wounded, escaped into the woods. Ratliff was reportedly a walking arsenal bearing no fewer than 6 gunshot wounds and 6 pistols.
Damn.
Including the one he took from the bank. Santa had been caught.
Poor Santa. They probably hung him. That's what they did back then, right?
Actually, I'll skip ahead to this. So the civilians of Eastland County grew infuriated to learn that Ratliff had not already been executed for his deeds and were further aggravated by his new development. So basically a crowd
What was the
gathered.
new development?
Let's see.
Turns out that he also had diabetes.
See, so he pled guilty to armed robbery.
Cy Bradford was like my old nemesis,
and took it. So he pled guilty and took the stand on his own behalf, crying for mercy and citing his unhappy childhood. In March, he was given a sentence of life imprisonment, 99 years. He escaped from prison 3 times, but was recaptured every time. After settling down, he was paroled.
Oh, poor guy! Fucking get out 3 times.
Ratliff was convicted of armed robbery on January 27th, 1928. And was also sentenced to 99 years in prison.
Damn, and this is Texas. So you would think like in Texas in 1927, like they'd just be like, all right, we're going to shoot you in the face.
Oh, this is what happened, Richard. So
we're going to hit you with a brick.
On November 18th, while awaiting execution, Ratliff feigned paralysis, convincing his jailers. So 2 people fed and bathed him and took him to the toilet. Having duped the 2 jailers, the men who had played Santa managed to get a hold of a 6-shooter and fatally wounded. So essentially he had got out. Some guys beat him up and put him back in his cell. So this is where the crowd got mad because he basically tried to get away. So
yeah.
Next morning,
they're like, hey, first he fucks up my kid's life because he dresses like Santa and then starts shooting people in the face. He killed a beloved pop icon. And now he got out of prison. Like he escaped and he's still in there. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. So the crowd began to gather that next morning. And by nightfall, it had grown to nearly 2,000, all clamoring for him.
They're like, kill Santa, kill Santa, kill
Basically,
Santa.
Yeah. So I guess the warden didn't go to their demands because basically they're just going to do like a town hanging, essentially.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to storm the prison. We're going to drag this guy out and hang him by his fucking...
Yeah, 15 to 20 men went and rushed into the prison and drug him out. They tied his hands and feet and carried him to a vacant lot behind the local Majestic Theater.
Damn, that's fucked up.
They threw a rope over basically a telephone pole.
Man, that's fucked up. Isn't that not a little fucked up?
The first attempt failed when the knot came loose and he fell to the ground. The second time, using a stronger rope, they were successful. His last words were, "Forgive me, boys," before he was hoisted 15 feet in the air. He was pronounced dead 20 minutes later at 9:55 on November 19th.
I mean, isn't that a little fucked up that, like, you know, like, you got caught, you got shot a bunch of times, you got caught, you got tried, you got sentenced, you're in prison, and then a bunch of people, like, show up and drag you out and kill you.
Yeah. I mean, he did beat the shit out of some people in jail trying to break out.
I mean, yeah. And I'm not saying, I mean, like, I'm sure that, you know, I'm sure he was, you know, severely punished, but I don't know, man. That fucking, I guess it's like that whole, like, mob mentality, you know what I mean?
No, I get that, yeah. It's kind of like in them doing that, they're no better than him.
A little.
Yeah,
I mean,
get
I
that.
don't, like, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like you talked about the town, like everybody showing up and like shooting the prison or shooting the bank. They probably caused as much, if not more, damage than the robbers themselves.
Probably.
But again, this was a time where, like I said, 3 to 4 banks were being robbed daily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Crazy.
All I know, Richard, is I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas. No, it's an interesting tale. I don't know of any other like Santa Claus related. I know there's some movies kind of about that, but I thought it was an interesting
maybe this
tale.
Is where Bad Santa. Maybe this is where we got the Bad Santa story.
That's what I was thinking. Like it might have been a little, but there's no. They didn't use the right names.
Yeah, yeah.
But as we're tidying up this Christmas joy, this tale of Christmas happiness, and Carmichael's love for music, do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
Everybody in the Wild West had the coolest names on the fucking planet.
This wasn't even the Wild West. This was the 20s.
Oh, yeah. People in the 20s. Coolest names on the fucking planet. Midge Pellet. Fucking George Carmichael.
Bit.
Cy Wilford
Bradford.
Brimley.
Bradford.
Bits, and Red Eyes.
Madrid, tell it.
Fucking fantastic.
And here we are, Shawn and Richard.
I'm going to change my name to Midge Pellet.
I like that'd be a good name.
Right?
Do you like
And
Pellet better or Tell It? Because it was Tell It.
I
Pellet
like
sounds
Pellet.
like a grill.
I like Pellet. Midge Pellet.
Yeah, it sounds like a rat poop. Like, oh, it's a rat pellet.
But like, if you have that name, like, what the fuck else are you gonna do except like open a boarding house or a hotel or something? Or
I mean, you could run for sheriff.
Oh my god, I'd win in
Sheriff Pellet.
I win in a landslide. They wouldn't even ask me to ride a horse.
Yeah, or ask you your favorite John Wayne Western.
Yeah, they'd be like, "What's
You know
your
what his
name?" Midge. Sold.
You know what his favorite John Wayne Western is? All of them.
Yeah, there you go. That's everybody in the 20s had a cool name, and don't get shot in the olden times.
Yeah, next time you see Santa Claus come in the bank or you sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah. If you shoot him, you get $5,000.
Speaking of that, this is just kind of coming to mind. I never liked sitting on Santa's lap.
I honestly can't recall times that I did sit on Santa's lap.
I did up until I was like 5, maybe. And we're at 1, and Santa was kind of like, I don't think he was intentionally holding me in an inappropriate spot, but
you know what? Let's unearth childhood trauma at a different point in time. Let's do that.
All right. I don't want to ruin Santa for everybody.
I think you just did.
Yeah. All right. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping before more. Oh, God, the Easter Bunny. Visit our website, we're languagebros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languagebro. Email us at bros@languagebros.com. We want to thank our great patrons, Wendy and Aaron. Thank you
guys
as always for your
rock
continued
so
support.
hard.
Oh, yeah, you guys.
You have the coolest names. I don't care what Midge says.
I didn't want to say this out loud, but the only reason Richard and I still do this show is just for you two.
Yeah, that's it. No, there's a few others.
Yeah. All right. Was there anything
I
else?
literally mean that. I mean a few. There's 3 people. There's 3. So we're at 5. We have 5 people.
Yeah, we're trying to get at least 1 per year. All right. Was there anything else before I close her out?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, that's all the Bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Midge.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a
Be a why not.
I'm going to run for sheriff.
Sheriff Midge Pellet. What would your horse's name be?
Midge's horse.